This is the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session, a weekly recap of your 2023 Phillies. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's. Tonight's show is brought to you by Team Toyota, BCWSA, Fogo de Show, Independence Blue Cross, and Capital Grill. Now, here are your hosts, Phillies PA announcer Dan Baker and Tommy Greene.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Chickies and Pete's, and welcome to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Section.
Excuse us. Let us turn around.
On WBCB 1490 AM and 107.3 FM. And, boy, what a star-studded show today.
Oh, we're just going to turn them loose, too.
Well, first of all,
no, you're not.
Lou is here. Great to see you. Lou, look at this.
Hey, Lou. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, you got the boys back.
Our co-host today, one of the few no-hit pitchers in Phillies history, ladies and gentlemen, number 49, Tommy Greene.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. You make me feel young again. I know Johnny feels about 30 years younger hearing that voice.
You know,
Did you see him get out of the car?
I could say so much about these two.
We can't say that on air, Dan.
Two of the two of the most popular Phillies of all time.
That might be an understatement.
And we're going to get into some more stuff as the show goes along. But suffice to say, I've had the privilege to introduce them both in a World Series. Greg in 1980. John in 1993, like you, Tommy. And both Greg Luzinski and John Kruk are in the Phillies Wall of Fame.
And we're both Polish.
Okay, both Polish.
Out of way.
And both Greg Luzinski and John Kruk were named to the Phillies All-Vet team. They picked the best players to ever play for the Phillies during the 33-year history of the Phillies at Veterans Stadium from 1971 through 2003. And these two were on it. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for number 29, first baseman John Kruk. And number 19, left fielder Greg Luzinski.
Can I file charges against him for groping me?
You need to.
We got our hands full today, guys, with these two up here.
What?
You need to turn around.
I can't.
Oh, you're fine.
These people come to see you.
Oh, wow. This may turn out to be the
this could be the one to get you fired.
Kruk and Luzinski Comedy Hour, but I'll tell you what.
Yes, it is.
They are so well loved. And John, here's something else. I'm sorry that Harry Callis is no longer with us, but since Harry's passing, I've had the privilege of introducing you guys when you walk out for the Wall of Fame.
Yeah.
And John, I'm going to say I think Charlie Manuel gets the biggest cheers. I think you're second. Both of you, I think, are getting cheers equal to Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton.
That's because I'm the youngest one out there.
Right.
And Bull
You
is
are.
also
Last one.
Well,
no,
Levy
Levy is.
Bull
Levy
is also way up in the noise meter. And what a great event. Greg, how about sharing with us your feelings about the most recent alumni weekend? You were very close with Ruley Carpenter, who was inducted this year.
Well, I did find something out about this weekend, and I didn't know that Roland Heumann, who I played for in Chicago and I knew very, very well, they were somehow related to John Quinn. And you talk about two opposite general managers. I mean, a total difference. And the brief time I had with John Quinn was and you know him because you were around. He was a tough bird. He was a guy that liked veteran ball players. Period. He'd take care of a veteran ball player, no matter what type of year you had. You know, you were going to get some kind of race from him. But a youngster at that time was not totally welcome in a Phillies organization. Paul Owens had a lot to do with that. He was going to step in and take John's place. And believe it or not, for my first two years in the big leagues, I didn't even negotiate my contract. Paul Owens did it for me. He called me up and said, well, the first year the minimum was 15 and I made 30. And then the next year they gave me 60. And that was through Paul Owens. I didn't even talk to John Quinn. Paul did just say, let me take care of it. But, you know, obviously those two deserve to be in there. I know Schmitty, myself, Boa, a lot of the guys were signed that were the nucleus of that club were signed under when John Quinn was general manager. So you got to give him a little bit of credit that he stayed with the minor league system and the people that worked in the minor league system, you know, to bring us aboard. And, you know, he was a good man. Like I said, I stayed away from him, so he was good.
We owe him credit for the bull, right?
Yeah.
We're here in Philly. You know,
How did you get double?
Yeah,
the
how was that
minimum
right
your
off the
rookie
bat?
year?
Right off the bat.
Well, I told you, Paul Owens negotiated my contract, and when I got my contract, obviously it was for the minimum $15,000. And I did call Paul, and I said, no, he called me and he said, did you get your contract? I said, yeah. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was $15,000. He says, well, let me take care of it. I'll do your negotiating. And that was going to be my first year in the big leagues. First full year in the big leagues, and I was moving to left field. He said, you're moving to left field and hitting fourth for this team. I'll take care of your contract. So you just go play ball. And
you did.
That's how it happened.
So
Thank God.
he was your agent, right?
Yeah, he
What
was.
kind of percentage did you get back then?
0.
Also at
Best agent
alumni
ever.
at Alumni Weekend, Bull, we honored the 40th anniversary of the 1983 National League champions and the 30th anniversary of John's and Tommy's 1993 National League champions. John, were you surprised by anybody that you saw or disappointed for anyone who may not have shown up?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you want to see everyone there.
Yeah.
But extenuating circumstances leads to not everyone being invited. But, you know, the ones you miss are the ones that aren't here no more.
Yeah.
Darren, David West, all are.
Kim Batiste.
Yeah, and if you ever want to get under Larry Bowa's skin, just keep reminding him that he's the last living coach of the '93 team.
Ooh. Yeah.
He goes right over the edge.
Yeah.
And it's fun to do that with Larry.
Well, most of the time,
You're stirring the kettle?
Most of the time, just talking to Larry, he goes over the edge. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Well, of course, John, you had a relationship. You have a very close relationship with Larry, as Bull does. They were roommates for many years. And of course,
how did that go?
Larry was John's manager in San Diego.
How's he still alive?
Yeah, I know. I mean, how didn't you? Well, why didn't you?
Well,
that's what I want to know.
You know, I went after him one time, and I told this story before. That was my first year in instructional league, and it was the first time I met him, and I was rooming with Jerry Rodriguez, and they wanted me to change rooms, so I had to go to Larry Bowa, and he was just learning how to switch hit.
Oh.
But he was playing shortstop. Ron Hunt is from St. Louis. He eventually made it. He was in the big leagues, but he was down there. He hit a ground ball to Denny Doyle. Denny Doyle flipped it over to Larry, and he didn't return it. Well, Ron Hunt can't run. The guy slid in pretty hard, so I got on Bowa's back there and started yelling, "Don't be afraid of contact. What the hell's wrong with you? You afraid of contact down there? You'll never turn." You know, well, I kept saying, "You afraid of contact?" And when I got in the dugout, he was all pissy like he gets. And he thought I was talking about his at bat before that because he's hitting left-handed, and he's just learning how to do that. So now I got to go change rooms. So as I go to change rooms and I'm putting my stuff in there, he's still yapping. and he's in my ear the whole time. Well, Vuk was there. So I had about enough. I grabbed his T-shirt and I pulled him towards me. As I grabbed his T-shirt ripped, and I went to hit him, and Vuk jumped in, and I hit Vuk.
Oh my!
And,
Classic end to it right there.
That's the only time in my career I ever got. I used to get him when I had enough. I'd grab him from behind. I'd get him from behind and get on his nose with my forearm and push.
Push a
and
little pressure.
Yeah, and I just say, Larry, that's enough. And he go, okay. You know how he is. But,
Greg, who did you hit harder, Bill Greif or John Vukovich?
Oh, probably. I'd say it was a tie.
Another Padre. Yeah.
Are you beating up my Padre people?
Well, that was another story. Dick Allen had just got to the ball club.
Here we go.
He was on the on-deck circle, and I was going up to hit off Greif, and I said, Dick, I'm going to the mound. He says, what do you mean you're going to the mound? I said, he's going to throw at me. And so get the catcher. The catcher was Kendall. So he set me up. He threw me a curveball first pitch, and I bailed, and it was strike one. Threw me the next pitch behind my head. So, and I just kind of stood there, and it went behind my head, and I went to the mound. And when you look at the replays, Dick had Kendall at home plate, and he wasn't moving. Kendall was a pretty big boy, you know.
He just wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah, but I remember Paul Runge was the
Home plate umpire?
had him in AAA, and I ended up swinging at Greif. I hit him the first time, and then the melee came in, and then I ended up at third base with his jersey in my hand. You know, but the funny part about it is, I went back in the batter's box, and Runge threw him out of the game.
Didn't throw you out?
Didn't throw. No, we were tight. Runge and I were tight, so he didn't throw me out, and because he kind of heard me say it. You know how the umpires walk in between ends, and he was kind of in front of the on-deck circle.
Oh, yeah, he had mule ears out, huh?
So
He didn't miss a whole lot.
Well, they usually do have those mule ears out, you know. So
He probably saw the way that Greif set you up, too, you know.
well, yeah, it was a definite setup, and we had trouble with San Diego. If you remember Jim Essian,
Catcher.
I forget the infielder that went to swing a bat at him at home plate when Schuler knocked him down in San Diego. So, you know, we had a couple mishaps with those boys.
I wonder what happened when I got there.
John, what?
I weren't too aggressive.
You were a San Diego boy.
That brings me to question, whoever threw at you? I mean, other than what we saw in the All-Star just jacking around with you, but anybody?
Few.
You know? I mean, I'm trying to remember back in the day, and when I played with you, and I was like, God, I don't see. I mean,
well, when I was in San Diego, I got thrown out a few times. Ron Darling was one.
Okay. That's why you hated
Ron
him.
Darling. Really? I thought it was a sign of respect that okay, he can't get me out, so he has to figure out another way. But
I mean, true. I mean, that's the way. Listening to y'all talk back in the day, that's the way sort of y'all made it seem like. I mean, it's like, hey, they're trying to get me uncomfortable because I own him.
Goose Gossage threw at me once.
That got your attention.
But he was a teammate. I threw him out of a golf cart, and he hurt his knee. And luckily, the next morning, he came in and told the trainer he did it running. He had to get his knee operated on. And so I was a rookie, and when he started rehabbing his knee, he wanted to throw a bullpen, so they said, I need a hitter. And you know how it is, Bull. If you have to stand up there left-handed, how scary as hell. You're not used to seeing that way. So he said, stand right-handed first. And I'm like, oh, boy, this ought to be fun.
This is going to be fun.
But he was way away, everything good. And he said, all right, move over to left-handed. So I move over to left-handed. He said, all right, I'm going to throw away. And he said, all right, I'm going to come inside. And he hit me right in the back. And you're not expecting it.
No. How long did it take before you caught you?
Oh, my God, I couldn't. I don't think I've ever been right. But I was laying there on the ground like you said, couldn't breathe. And he walked over and he said, don't ever throw me out of a golf cart again.
You said yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
never played golf with him again.
Oh, my God, classic.
We have to take our first commercial break. Folks, what do you think of the show so far? How about this? Greg Luzinski, John Kruk, Tommy Greene will be back with the second segment of today's show in just a moment.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage. Like LeComp, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
I SEPTA Philly.
I SEPTA Philly. I SEPTA Philly.
I ride the Broad Street line. Do you know how expensive parking is?
I do not have time to deal with traffic.
Because it's better for the environment.
I ride SEPTA all the time.
Monday through Friday, and whenever game day is.
I'm out the door and at my stop by 7:30.
I catch up on work when I ride.
I check Twitter, text my buddies.
I watch sports highlights, or lowlights.
For real Philly fans, SEPTA is the hometown way to go. Ride with us at iseptaphilly.com.
There really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota makes a great choice for your next vehicle purchase or service. With our MVP pricing guarantee, teammate rewards program, and streamlined customer experience, our award-winning operation ensures that you can trust our process. A home team advantage is nothing without the community. Our employees are part of our family, part of your town, and we're all part of the team. We're always here for you at one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, and Glen Mills, or at teamtoyota.net.
We now return to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies PA announcer Dan Baker and Tommy Greene.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session, starring 2 Phillies legends today, Greg Luzinski and John Kruk.
A.K.A. Laurel and Hardy.
Tommy Greene and I have the privilege of co-hosting on WBCB today, 1490 AM, 107.3 FM. And before we return to these 2 legends, Tommy, I have a question about you.
Oh, okay.
It has to do with the no-hit game that you threw in 1991, and specifically the game after, where you also had a great outing. And, Tommy, I'm asking you this question because Michael Lorenzen joined that select group of no-hit Phillies pitchers in our 140-year history. Threw 124 pitches. Great. First 2 outings were terrific.
Outstanding.
But the last 2, not so much. And, Tommy, emotionally, physically, did the no-hitter take a toll on you? And how did you come back that strong the next game out? And John was there.
John was there. John witnessed both.
Didn't realize the first one.
I know. You didn't run around that much that day. You didn't move that much.
No. But you walked how many?
7.
7.
Okay.
I remember sitting in there with Darren Fletcher. Yeah. About the 6th inning, I look up at the scoreboard. I'm like, holy crap, Fletch, you realize he's got a no-hitter? He didn't even know.
I know. I mean, it was a lot of things happening. It was a lot of things happening.
Traffic.
But, it worked out. But people ask me, which game. Without that game, I wouldn't have got the same thing I wouldn't be able to say anything about the second game. But I got a chance to pitch against them again. People ask me what game I take pride in. I see, obviously, the no-hitter means a lot, but the game you take pride in, I think, is my next start against them in Philly. I threw a 3-hit shutout, didn't walk nobody.
Atta boy.
And pitched a better ball game, and we beat them instead of, I think it was 1-0 to the 9th in a no-hitter. We ended up beating them 2-0, and it was like 11-0, and it wasn't even close in the other. The guys, Johnny and them, scored a boatload of runs as they normally did, and made it. That was that game meant a lot to me. It was more of a validation game.
Well, let me ask, what advice would you have for Michael Lorenzen?
No, it's not advice. I mean, he's a big league ball player. He's had a lot of. He's had success in the big leagues, and he knows he can pitch here. It's about going out and executing. And the thing I noticed, probably John probably noticed it too, was it was just a consistency, him being consistent like he was in his no-hit game as far as controlling the zone, which he didn't seem to as much. His changeup wasn't as good, wasn't as sharp with it, and he ended up costing him a little bit, getting some balls over the plate.
Since we have Greg Luzinski and John Kruk here today, I wonder if we could ask you both, Bull, beginning with you, to assess the 2023 Phillies.
Well, we've got some pitching here for the last couple of games. People talk about our ball club and say our schedule down the stretch is easy. I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I mean, we have 7 games against Atlanta, and we have to go to the coast for 3, which John doesn't make road trips, so he doesn't know what it looks like out there. But we have to play San Diego, which can be a good ball club.
Yes.
At times. So
and you got to go to Milwaukee too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to be easy for us, I don't think. But that's why you got to beat up on these bad teams. You got to take a team like we're playing tonight, the Angels. You got to think about winning and sweeping the series. I think. The Cubs aren't backing off any.
The Cubs are playing good ball right now,
and they're playing Milwaukee right now. So Milwaukee's winning their division. So technically, from a wild card standpoint on where we sit, we're not going to catch Atlanta. So we're hoping Milwaukee beats the Cubs and we can beat the Angels to increase that lead. I think some of these other teams are kind of slacking off. Miami's had some problems. Atlanta went into San Francisco and took 2 out of 3. So, we can't give away games like we did the other day to San Francisco.
But, the 10-pitcher game?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. How about that, guys? Some things never change, huh?
Yeah, that's our buddy.
Back to that question I was under the impression that anybody with a bat in their hand can hurt you, so you can't overlook anybody.
No.
So
I know at the end we play the Mets 7 times in 10 days.
Yeah. You don't think they want to do some damage against the Phillies?
Oh my gosh!
And we have trouble against them.
Yep.
So it's not easy. I just hope they continue to play well and offense continues to hit.
That's the thing I hate about where they strength the schedule. Well, when you looked at a month and a half ago, Phillies played Washington however many more times. Washington's one of the best teams.
They're playing the best ball right now.
Best ball in the National League lately. Them and the Cubs and, of course, the Phillies now. But, they're no slouch. They got a bunch of young, hungry. I always felt the dangerous teams were the young teams because they're trying to prove to their manager, coaching staff, organization that you don't have to look for my position next year. They're hungry. If you play a bunch of veteran guys that are in last place, they'll roll over on you. As soon as you get ahead of them, most of them will roll over on you.
It's like the last day of spring training.
Well, when I think of your 2 teams, Greg Luzinski and John Kruk, that went to the World Series, and Tommy, you got contributions from young players, and we're getting that this year, John.
Yeah. I tell you what, those
They're impressive, Johnny. You've seen it day in, day out.
Yeah, with Bohm and Stott and Marsh. You know, I remember when we got Marsh from the Angels, and you know, I called Mark Gubicza. I said, "What are we getting with this guy Marsh?" He said he's, you know, he'll go get him in the outfield. He can run, great clubhouse guy. And he said, and I said, "But can he hit?" And he said, "He will." And I said, "How do you know that?" He said, "I just know he'll hit." And lo and behold, he's doing
hitting
a hell of a job for us.
Yeah, he's hitting.
When you look at John, I see some similarities between your teams and this team in terms of being able to score a lot of runs. Like that year, 93, John was a 3-time All-Star, 91 through 93. I believe you batted .316 in 93 and had a .430 on base per.
Wow.
We had 4 guys that walked 100 times.
Yeah.
Every time you looked up, the 93 team had the bases loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I came in second in National League in on-base percentage, and I lost by like 200. To Bonds was 600 or something.
He was like unbelievable. I mean, I've talked about it on there to keep with those guys what they did. They knew how to play the game of baseball. They knew how to get manufactured runs. They went from first to third better than anybody. Believe it or not, John used to go just as good as anybody. I think the best was Head. But those guys knew how to manufacture runs, and they walked, they stole bases, they moved runners, you know, and when it was runner on third, less than 2 outs, he was in.
Tommy, thinking about Dave Hollins, he reminded me of Greg. When these guys got hit by a pitch, they didn't flinch. It's like, whoa, you know.
I've only seen Head move like one real good time, and that was in the spring training game down in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And that's when all that stuff started. But besides that, he was stoic at home plate.
Well,
yeah.
Be honest with you, I might have a little trouble with this pitching staff, our pitching staff, the way some of our guys are going down. I mean, I think it would get to a point if I was a hitter, I'd walk down there and say, or in the clubhouse and say, "Hey, boys, when are you going to protect us?"
Yeah.
And you've done that before.
You know, I mean, yeah, Wayne Twitchell did it. I went down there and said to him, "Wayne, someone's got to go down," you know. And he took care of business. But
do you see the guys? You watch enough the pitching. Do you think they understand how to pitch inside like that? You know, or move guys like that needs to be done?
Well, I don't even know if they know how to hit somebody.
Well,
you know, I mean, I'm not talking about throwing up. I'm talking
about good purpose shot.
Yeah, the rear end or the ribs.
Yeah.
You know. But we don't do that. Some of our bigger boys got thrown at. I don't care. You know, they use that excuse on Bohm all the time. You know, they go in there, throw them up and in and underneath the chin, and then the first thing they'll say on the other side, well, we're trying to pitch them in. You know, we don't want them to get extended. Blah blah blah. You know. To me,
pitching up and in at the head is a different story.
That's BS, boys. You know, go protect them.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially in the games we had. We had some runs, so go get somebody. And San Francisco does it to us all the time. He did it out there to us in San Francisco, and he did it again here when the team was in for a 3-game series.
Yeah.
Talk about
either that or throw the ball in the dugout and hit Kapler.
John, do you see?
I like that.
I'll tell you that. Can you imagine Dallas, Larry Bowa, Jimmy Fregosi coming out to take a picture out wearing a T-shirt?
Oh, yeah. Well, there were rules back when we played that you had to have a uniform.
Oh, yeah, it cost you if you didn't.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be rules, too, now.
Yeah. Well, this commissioner doesn't know.
Here we go.
If they have a jersey
Turn
on
the
or
screws,
not.
Jake. I see you.
Yeah.
We have to take our second commercial break on this week's edition of the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. But don't go away. We have more with John Kruk, Greg Luzinski, Tommy Greene, and me, Dan Baker, after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage. Like LeComp, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The Heated Deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/stay covered.
I SEPTA Philly.
I SEPTA Philly. I SEPTA Philly.
I ride the Broad Street line. Do you know how expensive parking is?
I do not have time to deal with traffic.
Because it's better for the environment.
I ride SEPTA all the time.
Monday through Friday, and whenever game day is.
I'm out the door and at my stop by 7:30.
I catch up on work when I ride.
I check Twitter, text my buddies.
I watch sports highlights. Or lowlights.
For real Philly fans, SEPTA is the hometown way to go. Ride with us at iseptaphilly.com.
There really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota makes a great choice for your next vehicle purchase or service. With our MVP pricing guarantee, teammate rewards program, and streamlined customer experience, our award-winning operation ensures that you can trust our process. A home team advantage is nothing without the community. Our employees are part of our family, part of your town, and we're all part of the team. We're always here for you at one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, and Glen Mills, or at teamtoyota.net.
We now return to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies PA announcer Dan Baker and Tommy Greene.
Welcome back to the Bull Session, everybody. The Independence Blue Cross Bull Session at Chickies and Pete's flagship, 15th Street and Packer Avenue, right around the corner from Citizens Bank Park. By the way, our director of photography, Ellen Foreman, is here with her husband, Jack. Is Jack here? Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
We thank you. And so we're talking Phillies baseball with 2 Phillies legends and one of the Phillies no-hit pitchers, Tommy Greene, along with Greg Luzinski and John Kruk. A question, Bull, you're the home run hitter out of the group. There's an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News today by Matt Breen. He interviewed Mike Schmidt, Bryce Harper. Mike is confident that Bryce will join him in the 500 home run club. He's got 297. He needs 3 for 300. Do you share Schmidt's confidence, Bull?
Well, you got to stay healthy. That's the main thing. Obviously he had the operation on his right arm that everybody figured would hurt him. I think he started playing hurt with it. Now he's getting strength in it, better strength in it, and he's driving the ball. Yeah, he's capable of doing that. It all comes down to longevity. I mean, I had 307, and I was hurt. I tore a knee up twice. So I missed time, and I retired at a young age. I retired at 34. Nowadays, you put another 5 years on there, and you hit 30. So you're close.
Do you think him the possibility to move to first is a permanent basis right now, and obviously the DH being in the National League? the way it is. You know,
to be honest with you, I think that would be a good move right now with our lineup, obviously, because it puts Bohm at third. And he's really improved down there. He's a great third baseman right now.
When he's playing first, also it opens up the DH spot for Schwarber to go there, and your defense is better as outfield.
You can use Marsh in left and put the kid out there, Rojas, that can go get the ball, and it makes your defense a whole lot stronger. I mean, he could reach it. I mean, he's got enough power to consistently hit those 35, maybe go to 40 home runs in a year.
Johnny, do you see, like, through this year with Bryce obviously playing hurt and getting stronger over the course of the game, do you think he's become a better hitter? Going the other way, staying on balls better because of this?
Well, I think he had to early when he first came back, because he didn't, like you said, like Greg said, he didn't have the bat speed just yet, because he's, I mean, my gosh, he wasn't supposed to come back till after the All-Star break, and he came back, 2 months earlier?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive there. But I wonder, and I don't know this because, they're not going to divulge any of this information, but I wonder if he's playing first base sporadically, and they'll start ramping it up near the end of the year so he can play first base from day one of the postseason on to the end.
Well, it makes it a stronger ball.
Yeah, I do. I think that, too.
Hey, John Kruk, you're quite an entertainer.
Oh, boy.
Eddie,
you have no idea, Dan.
You were in the movie, The Fan.
Yeah, I got killed.
With Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. And,
don't you wish you were killing me?
A star on the Letterman show, and so tell us about some of your TV and film experiences.
I don't know how that all happened.
That's because you are who you are, Johnny.
I got a call from whoever produced that movie, The Fan, and I mean, they just said, you wanted to go do a movie. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. What? I ain't busy. And it was going to be in the winter, so I was living in West Virginia, so I spent the winter in Southern California because it was a Giants. So they made the Angels Stadium look like Candlestick as much as they could.
Wow.
And then the production company was the one who had to pay for all those rocks out there and the waterfall. That was a production company because the field was destroyed.
Oh.
And they had this gun because none of those guys could hit. Benicio del Toro could hit a little bit, but the rest of them sucked. But so they had this like cannon thing, and me and this other guy used to go out there early and get balls and try to break seats, and that thing would fire them out there, 150, 200 miles an hour. I mean, it was
not like quick. The Fanatic hot dog shooter.
No. And I mean, we were breaking, so we got in trouble for that too. But I didn't care.
John,
sounds like you might have got in trouble in West Virginia back in the day when you were younger doing.
Well, back then, I probably would have. Yeah. But now that I've met Greg,
he's a singer.
Really?
Oh yeah. He knows all these country western singers.
Yeah.
He sings.
Matter of fact, I'll be there next week.
Yeah, see?
With my buddies. We're going to write some songs. They might not be R-rated,
but
–
why don't you give us a little tune?
No.
Hey.
You got to pay me, man.
Here we go.
You just put a mint in your mouth.
I know. Well, that's not a – it's a cough drop, Greg.
Yeah. Like
I'm coughing.
Like Luciano Pavarotti, he's just getting the vocal cords lubricated.
You never know. I might sing to you tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Now, Greg, you had a lot of celebrity fans in L.A. when the Phillies were playing the Dodgers.
Well, yes, we did. Yeah, we did. We had Walton's Mountain Group come out. The group Chicago was there. I went to school with some of those guys, and in fact, they're going to be down at the shore this winter, and I won't be coming back. I'll be in Florida with you.
That a baby. Wait a second. I got a picture.
You know,
do y'all live that close together down there in Florida?
Too close.
Too close?
Ronnie Howard was a friend of Jimmy Ritz, who you know, and I was asked to do a movie and I didn't do it. There was a movie they were doing in Pittsburgh, a union movie with the cars that Ronnie Howard was producing. But you know, Jimmy, who is a good friend of all of ours, we all know Jimmy Ritz, and he's living down in Florida. When Ronnie Howard did a movie, Jimmy was always in a movie. And a little bit, he had a little part in every movie. And it was kind of a funny part in Cocoon. He was the eye doctor.
Okay.
And if people remember the little eye doctor, you know, and he played a cop in another movie, which was funny because everybody was so much bigger. Jimmy's a little guy. Everybody so much bigger than he was. But yeah, Ronnie Howard's a big baseball fan, and they used to have. Happy Days. People come in to our stadium.
Kathy worked with that group.
Yeah.
Kath on the Happy Days group, Ron Howard.
Yeah.
They come in and play. They came in a few times to play softball. You know, in a celebrity tournament at the stadium. Maureen McCormick, who was another big baseball fan. Yeah, there was a few of them. Group Chicago used to come all the time.
Yeah.
In L.A.
I thought you palled around with Sinatra or something.
Yeah, I became friends with
you wanted to Rat Pack?
Frank Jr., right?
Frank Jr.
Look at there.
Yeah.
Look what Johnny found on it. What is that?
Well, I was a little
It's
bigger.
a Miller Lite commercial Bull did.
I was a little bigger there.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, nobody messed with him, that's for sure.
Well, you know, that's when you quit. The first 2 years after you quit, all the things you missed, you now start eating again, you know. I mean, hey, my whole career, all I heard was, you're too big, you're too big. I weighed in spring training in 1980, 218 pounds.
Wow, that's breath and britches.
Yeah. No, all I ate, if I breathe air, I gained weight, you know.
Johnny, they tried to do the same thing. They tried to do the same thing with him, telling me he had to lose. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of the boat. Yeah,
Nope. Came in at 190 one year, spring training. I don't think I had but one hit all spring.
I witnessed it, so I saw it.
You don't feel good.
Awful.
I know.
But I'm sitting there after another ground out to second, and I put my helmet in the bat rack, and all I could hear is Vuk. You're a lot better hitter fat, Johnny.
How was that first hot dog when you decided?
I had a pizza, a large meat lover's pizza that night, and a 12-pack. I felt like I was on my way, Greg.
That's classic. You were, because you did. Hey, you hit after that.
Yeah, well, Bo always used to tell me, hey, I'm coaching a guy down in San Diego. He reminds me of you. So we must have had a lot in common.
I know when
both of you played left field, right?
When he got fired, he told me, he said, I'm going back to Philly. I'm going to try to get you over there. And then my first day, I believe, got traded, I meet him in the dugout. And I'm like, holy crap, this is pretty cool, man.
Randy Reddy came with you.
Randy, yeah.
Randy, Spiky.
Spiky Rotten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was an interesting. Well,
there was a lot of moves made during that time. 88? When did you come over? 88 or 9?
9.
And that was Roger and all them, Lenny and all those guys come over.
We didn't get along well with the general manager / manager, Jack McKeon.
Oh.
Well.
Oh, you're talking about in San Diego?
Yeah. I couldn't stand him, to be honest, but that's stories for another time, Greg. Dan.
I'm not a San Diego fan either. They cost me a tie in the MVP.
Explain how, Bull.
Well, I got all first place votes in the East and all second place votes in the West, except for San Diego. And then it ended up costing me, a tie with Foster, who had a tremendous year.
Yeah.
Was that the year he hit 50 and drove in 130 or something?
Well, I was close. I was close to him. I mean, I hit 39, and on the last day I missed the foul pole by a couple inches off Twitchell for 40. But it is what it is. I remember I was in Hawaii on a trip with a bunch of people from Philadelphia with Haddon Travel. And Ray, you remember Ray Kelly Sr.?
Sports writer.
Sports writer. Yeah. In fact, we were pretty close, and I became close to him through Darren Johnson, and him and Darren were close. And he was the one that called me up and told me exactly what happened. And it's kind of like, well, it's over. What can you do?
We have to take our last commercial break, and there's still more. With Greg Luzinski, John Kruk, Tommy Greene, and me, Dan Baker, one more segment coming up.
Hey, what
We now return to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies PA.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage. Like LeComp, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/stay covered.
I SEPTA Philly.
I SEPTA Philly. I SEPTA Philly.
I ride the Broad Street line. Do you know how expensive parking is?
I do not have time to deal with traffic.
Because it's better for the environment.
I ride SEPTA all the time.
Monday through Friday, and whenever game day is.
I'm out the door and at my stop by 7:30.
I catch up on work when I ride.
I check Twitter, text my buddies.
I watch sports highlights. Or lowlights.
For real Philly fans, SEPTA is the hometown way to go. Ride with us at iseptaphilly.com.
There really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota makes a great choice for your next vehicle purchase or service. With our MVP pricing guarantee, teammate rewards program, and streamlined customer experience, our award-winning operation ensures that you can trust our process. A home team advantage is nothing without the community. Our employees are part of our family, part of your town, and we're all part of the team. We're always here for you at one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, and Glen Mills, or at teamtoyota.net.
We now return to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies PA announcer Dan Baker and Tommy Greene.
One of our features every week on the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session is naming the Phillies Live Fearless Player of the Week. And our co-host normally makes that nomination. Yeah. Tommy Greene, whom have you selected?
Well, I'll tell you what, with the week that the Phillies had going 5-1 for the week, it obviously a lot of positive things happened. And there's some guys, more than one guy's noteworthy of being your player of the week, but I think you have to go with Bryce Harper. From going into the past 7 days, in those 6 games, he hit .522. And had 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. I mean, you can't ask for any better than that. You know, so he was the leader on the field this week, and that's my pick for this week.
Okay, Tommy, thank you very much. Special guest this week, Greg Luzinski and John Kruk, members of the Phillies Wall of Fame, members of the All-Vet team. And when you think of some of their statistical accomplishments, Bull, 2-time runner-up for MVP, 4-time All-Star. John, 3-time All-Star. Finished with a 300 batting average for your career. You know, that's some. I remember when Richie Ashburn did that. It was very, very important to him. And John, that must be among the many accomplishments you're proud of. That's got to rank with them, doesn't it?
If I'd have known.
Oh, I thought you got that hit to make sure you're over 300. Oh, no.
No. So it was Jim Abbott, Robin Ventura, Ozzie Guillen, Kurt McCaskill, Alex Fernandez, I think, and Scott Rudinsky came up with that plan. Get a hit, walk off the field. We were in Boston for 3 games, and I went 0 for Boston. So if I'd have known, I need a hit to hit 300, I'd have quit then. And no clue. And then go to Baltimore Friday, Saturday, 0 for.
Well, let me ask you this. And both you and Greg and, of course, Tommy, no-hit fame. Which accomplishments in your baseball career are you most proud of?
No, none really.
There's so many of them.
There's so many that I look more team stuff like that. You know, we had one. I played 10 years or 11, something like that. But only 1 year had a chance of getting in the playoff. And you know, we were 2 wins away from a world championship. It still bothers me, but it's still the best year I've ever enjoyed professionally.
I have to agree with that. I mean, as far as from my standpoint, it was just the year's worth of work it took to get us to where we got to, and everybody being involved like it was, and the fun we had doing it. Yeah.
Greg, how about you? And by the way, next week we're going to have one of your 1980 World Series teammates, Greg Gross, on Labor Day, Monday, September 4th. And we'll be, I'm trying to think if we're right here for that, I'm pretty sure. Is that right, Matt? Where are we next week? Here?
He doesn't know. He's got to look it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay.
We got to talk about that.
You two are friends, huh?
John and Greg, Shohei Ohtani. How much longer can he play with the torn UCL? And do you see him finishing this year as a hit? Well, he has to be a hitter only. Can't pitch with that.
Yeah, I think he's like Bryce. I mean, Bryce played last year with that thing for how long? And all he could do was DH. So,
he had a pretty good day yesterday.
But here's the thing. Bryce was in a different situation. You know, the Phillies had a great chance last year getting in the postseason. This year they have a better chance. Angels got no chance. If I'm the Angels, unless you knew you couldn't re-sign him, wouldn't you want him to get this surgery now to speed up the process of recovery than wait until, October, November? I don't know.
I agree.
We were talking about it yesterday.
Going to be a free agent, I think it only hurts you. First of all, it hurts them that the injury occurred, but get it fixed. You know, I don't understand that either. I think the Angels are out of it too. I think they're 8 games behind, and the funny part about it is they made as many trades at the trade deadline as anybody. You know, so
Trout came off the injured list for 1 game.
What did he hurt? Wrist?
Yeah, he's had
hamate bone. He broke the hamate bone.
The head had back in the day.
Hammock bone.
The who?
The hammock bone, or whatever.
You know about hammocks.
Oh, yeah.
I love a good hammock.
That's the same thing Hollins had. He was on, for 2 weeks he was out. How did he come back?
I don't think he had a hammock in Buffalo. I think he might have a hammock now that he lives in South Carolina. It's a little warmer.
I'm talking his hand, Crucky.
Oh, you said a hammock.
No.
Hey,
Go ahead, Bull.
I just want to say one thing, and John was there, that John Middleton brought all the Wall of Famers into the boardroom.
Yeah.
And he had it set up to where he had a playoff ring sitting at National League Championship box sitting there, had a glass of champagne there. But the one thing that probably impressed me the most was his speech.
Yeah.
He gave one of the greatest little speeches you want to hear to the alumni that were all, or not all the alumni, but the Wall of Famers that were sitting there. And it was really good. And then he brought us.
Can you share that with us?
Well, he was talking about the importance of. First of all, he talked about the importance of the alumni.
Yeah.
And then he went on to talk about the importance of the people that were on the Wall of Fame and what it meant to the fans and the interest they have shown in it, and the importance we are to the organization. And then said a few other things.
That's awesome. Classy.
After that, he presented us individually with our rings.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, first of all, to get the ring was one thing, but they gave us the player ring.
That's impressive.
Yeah, the one that opened up.
The one that opens up. So that that was really an impressive thing. And he said, "Listen, I'm just telling you guys here that when the Phillies have success on the field, and we hopefully win a world championship ring, we'll be back in the same room presenting you guys with another ring." So he really emphasized how important the Wall of Fame was, and how proud he was of the fact that he was able to meet us and rub shoulders with us, and it was pretty touching little event.
I think Levy had the best line when John gave Levy his ring. Levy said, "This is the only chance I'll ever have of getting one of these damn things." His teams he played on weren't very good. Oh. Poor Levy. Poor Levy.
Well, the Angels, they've had their issues. I don't know. I wanted to also ask you. We only have 2 minutes left. Producer Chris Irmer tells us. Now with that injury, can Shohei Ohtani still get the best contract in the history of baseball, $500 million? Is anybody going to take a chance with that?
The second one.
Yeah, second one.
As far as Tommy John was.
Before he got hurt, I was talking to Dave Dombrowski, and I said, if what would you have to offer Ohtani? And he said, "Oh, God," he goes, "I don't know, 40, 50 million a year." I said, "But what about as a pitcher?" And he looked at me, he goes, "What?" I said, "If I'm his agent, I'm going after both. I'm going 40 million as a hitter and 40 million as a pitcher." And he's like, "Oh my God." He goes,
I never thought about that.
Goes, I hope that doesn't happen. I said, "Should. If I was his agent, I would."
Well, we're sending Jorge Valenda to Japan here. He told me, he was in the room yesterday down by me, and he was talking to me. So there's 3-4 players in Japan that are going to come to the United States, and hopefully they can compete and get one of them to come here to Philly.
Greg and John, you've been great. We have to go.
Yes.
Greg Luzinski, John Kruk, Tommy Greene, I'm Dan Baker.
Does that mean Diego would have to learn Japanese? Diego's going to have to learn Japanese if he's a translator, right?
Yeah.
See you next week, everybody.